Welcome back to First Things First. Time now for Say What?
Might be time to bring back the British lady.
I know. The one thing everybody wants to know about New England is Tom Brady's hand. And since Brady hasn't met with the media since the injury, the questions are starting to go to his teammates. Devin McCourty was asked about how Brady looks. Say what? Take it.
Tom looks excellent every day. One of the best looking people I've ever met.
Did he look like his hand was bothering him at all?
I didn't. When you look at Tom, I mean, the facial, it's hard to look at anything else, so I really only saw his face.
Well, at least he speaks the truth. He's a good-looking guy. I think you wouldn't even admit that.
Yeah, Tom Brady's a good-looking guy. You know, there is a lot of studies that show great athletes have very symmetrical faces. And that's also what people find attractive, is the more symmetrical your face is.
Right.
Like, one of the things people think that I'm funny looking. The reality is my face is just crooked. Cece, on the other hand, very symmetrical face. You have a very symmetrical face. You know also does handsome Tom Brady. So does Devin McCourty and his twin brother. Saw that in that cocoa butter.
What is the music that we're listening to?
I don't know. It's kind of like,
it's like
baby making music. Think about how pretty Tom Brady is, I suppose.
Okay.
What?
Baby making music?
You asked a question,
Don't
Jenna.
say that ever again. Baby making music.
I'm just answering your questions, Jenna.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Baby making
Absolutely.
music?
Yes, I have it on Pandora.
That's the channel. What channel we listen to, baby? The baby making channel. Time now for some stories to start your morning.
My peeps don't have baby making
Say
music.
what?
Say what?
Steph, let me hook you up.
Time for some stories to start your morning, Steph Curry. The Falcons and Matt Ryan are working on an extension. Atlanta said this is their top priority this offseason. Ryan is entering the final year of his contract. CC, Chris Carter, is Matt Ryan a top-tier quarterback?
Of course he is. The Atlanta franchise has not reached the level that they've reached consistently with any other player besides Matt Ryan. This is the most success, continued success the Falcons have ever had. Yes, he's an elite quarterback. Sign him up.
We sometimes get bogged down in, is he a top 5 guy? Matt Ryan's not a top 5 guy. But he is a guy, if he's on your team, you can't let him walk. Like, what's your alternative? You want to just go on the quarterback carousel that so many mediocre teams have been on? So, is he a top-tier quarterback? Yeah, if your tier extends to guys like 7 through 12, then absolutely. He's a franchise quarterback. He's a guy that's shown he can put you in position to win the damn Super Bowl. I mean, they were as close as you can be without actually winning it. So, of course, you keep him. Now, I'm curious what that means for some of the other really talented players they have on that team. But, Cece, as you mentioned, the salary cap keeps going up.
Yes.
So a big quarterback contract doesn't hamper you as much as it used to.
All right, the NBA All-Star starters were announced yesterday. In the East, LeBron leads the way with Kyrie, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and DeMar DeRozan. And in the West, the starters will be Steph as your captain, followed by James Harden, KD, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins. But this year, the teams will be drafted by captains LeBron James and Steph Curry. Nick, LeBron has the first pick. Who would you draft first if you were LeBron James?
If I'm LeBron, I think I draft James Harden. Get a little test run of what it would like to be to play with James Harden in case he wants to go to Houston in the offseason, see what it's like to play. Because the only option really is Durant, right? It's Harden or Durant, or I guess Giannis. Those are your 3 best options at that spot. Giannis a little redundant with Durant or with LeBron.
It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. You know, if LeBron is going to continue his pettiness from January pettiness into February, he can draft Kyrie and put him on the bench.
He doesn't get to decide the rotations.
Oh, I ain't know that. I thought the captain, like, we running stuff. Okay, but that would throw a monkey wrench in the game.
Oh, I love that idea.
Take Durant. He's going to take Durant.
He drafts and he coaches.
I like that idea. So you think he's going to take Durant?
Yes.
I think Harden. We'll see. We'll see.
Finally, on paper, the Cleveland Cavs own the Orlando Magic. They've beaten them 19 out of their last 20. But last night's win was anything other than celebratory. Cavs found a way to blow a 23-point lead. 23 points to the Orlando Magic. In the third quarter, they missed all 9 threes and shot 6 of 20 overall. Due to that fluky last few seconds, they did eke out the win. Here's LeBron after the game.
We want to play better, and we know we have the ability to do it, but right now we're in Strugglesville, but it felt like a win. We needed it, definitely.
All right, Nick, what was the most concerning part about this Cavs narrow escape?
I mean, once again, they went They get out to an early lead. That was the only good part of it. They then can't hold the lead against a bad Magic team. They hit their threes early. They hit 6 threes in the first quarter, only hit 4 the rest of the game. And so then I guess we're not going to try to run any type of developed offense. And despite that, once your shots do go cold, but you have a big lead, they couldn't lock down defensively at all. So, like, all of those things are concerning. Like, this was the fact that they won this basketball game. They could have easily lost it. Like, my level of concern is the same about this individual game, whether they won or lost it.
Right.
They were
and you said that yesterday, too.
You're right. They were fortunate to win the game. The only, to me, positive sign, Cece, was you did see Isaiah Thomas a slight step in the right direction. Still far from 100%, but a slight step in the right direction. But this wasn't like some big, oh, okay, now the Cavs should be back to normal type of victory.
At some point, there has to be some type of alarm that goes off for Cleveland. It happened for the last 2 years. In this year's team, it just hasn't happened yet. You thought that maybe because of all the noise after the first quarter, wow, okay, man, maybe they woke up. Like, we're going to see them maybe run off maybe 15 or 20. Second quarter, oh, man, maybe, yeah, they can follow this up. They had a 20-point lead halftime. No, third quarter, they go right back to disinterested in playing a lot of one-on-one basketball. LeBron throwing the ball all over the place, turning the ball over, and also a lot of isolation basketball, a lot of one-on-one. So that part right there is still, they're not a good basketball team. So their ability to play good basketball over long periods at a time, that's what's hurting them right now. We know they're not good defensively, so when their shooting goes cold, that's what we see, and we're able to see that last night.
How much is this break needed for them, this All-Star break coming up? And will this be one of those divides where we look back and said, this is the way they were before the break and after the break?
I think it's more about the trade deadline than the All-Star break, to be totally honest with you. Now, those things happen within 10 days of each other, but I think the key is going to be, there are clearly 1 or 2 Cavs, and I have my theory on who they are, that are disgruntled in that locker room. I wonder how much that is affecting them on the team. So it's not, to me, just about who they potentially...
Who are the Cavs players you think are disgruntled?
I'm nearly certain Jay Crowder's disgruntled, and I have reason to believe
he looks that way.
Tristan Thompson might be as well.
Yeah, of course.
Like those 2 guys. And so it's not like an NFL locker room where you got 53 guys. You only have 15 guys on a team. You only have 9 or 10 guys that actually play.
Right.
So when you've got one starter and one of your key bench players who are unhappy at the moment, you got another guy in Isaiah Thomas who I think is personally dealing with things because he's not playing at the level that he wanted. You have Kevin Love, who's once again in his own head. Where do I fit on this team? What's going on? I was playing so well. Then IT came back. Now I'm the third banana again. You have all these things. Once the team is locked in, post-trade deadline, you might add one veteran, that gets a buyout, but your team is essentially locked in. They will have to figure it out. That's when I would look for the Cavs to hopefully, if you're a Cavs fan, look different than they have.
And I believe that IT, they ramped up his minutes to almost 30 minutes last night. Him getting 5 or 6 days at the All-Star break, I believe, will be crucial because he's trying to get back into shape.
Right.
That little break gives him that little ability to be able to train on his own, be able to get some rest, clear his mind, and then make that push after the All-Star break.
And you know who the All-Star break could be good for the first time in a long time? LeBron. Because he hasn't been giving himself little mini All-Star breaks throughout the year. He's played in every single game this season, as opposed in the past, you'll take a couple games off and you get, you get 6 days.
Yeah, he can go out to you guys' estate out there in Los Angeles, where he'll be living next year when he's playing for the Lakers. The mansion out there in L.A.
Give me a break.
Hey, let's go back to the NFL now. If you are Tom Brady, you bang your hand in practice days before the AFC title game. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're limited in practice on Wednesday as a result, it's kind of a big deal. And if you miss practice Thursday and the line starts to move from 9.5 to 7 points in Jacksonville's favor, well, now it's a big deal. Good thing they've got a star backup quarterback in case of emergencies. Oh, wait, hold on a second. CC, should we be concerned that Tom Brady has missed practice? You're a big practice guy.
I'm a big practice guy, so that does bring concern. The people that are a lot smarter than me, besides the people on the injury report, and those are the people in Vegas. You might not like to gamble, but listen, they know the NFL better than any NFL coach, former coach, player, or former player. They know what's going on, and that's why they're in business. You don't see that type of drastic change in the line the middle of the week unless it involves a injured player. Tom Brady, I didn't care that he got his hand nicked on a helmet. That happens in NFL practices all the time because it's not the NBA. It's not Major League Baseball. The practices on Wednesday and Thursday, they are real. Artie Burns, he got hurt a couple weeks last week in practice on a Wednesday because they do go hard and they are competitive and combative sometimes. So wasn't concerned. Then he missed practice on Thursday. Now, I know the two hardest work days and the most installation goes in Wednesday and Thursday. So that I'm concerned, and that was even after the line had changed. So the line had changed, then it was reported that he was out. So there's something going on. Also, a good friend of mine, Adam Schefter, watch him on Twitter. He's really wired into the Patriots. He says Tom Brady has a hand injury. He's not being specific, saying it's the thumb. He's very, very close to the family and to the powers that be there in New England. So watch him as we get closer to game time. 48 hours, 24 hours, Jenna. Nick will let you know. He'll prompt you. But I believe that it's real, and I believe it makes a viable upset for the Jacksonville Jaguars more real than ever before.
The line movement is what I noticed before the practice, and then we see these Zapruder films on Twitter of people zooming in on his right hand. Now, people are like, oh, it looks like he has a brace on the thumb. What I found most noteworthy was that there was a glove on that right hand at all, right?
Yes.
Tom Brady, when you typically see a picture of Brady, it's like the one over CeCe's shoulder that we just had in the shot.
Yes.
Glove on his offhand, but not a glove on his throwing
Look at
hand.
the game against the Raiders in the snow. He's got one glove on. Look at all the games in the cold in New England in the playoff. He's got one glove on.
And then you see the picture from practice yesterday right there. That's gloves on both hands. It's not because it was -5. It's, to me, because they were either holding something in place or concealing something that's on that hand. Now, I think Tom Brady playing left-handed is a better quarterback than Blake Bortles. So I don't know how much it's going to affect this football game. I know, though, that in this football game he's going to get hit. I know that in this football game, if you're already dealing with something slight, it could be aggravated. And this team's going to be, I believe, playing in the Super Bowl, where it absolutely could affect you. And I also know this, fair or not, man, there's a lot, if Brady does not play well, or if, God forbid, Brady has to miss some of this football game, there's going to be a lot of discussion about another very handsome quarterback, one Jimmy Garoppolo, the circumstances surrounding his trade, the fact that they had the best quarterback situation in the league, 3 playable quarterbacks going into the year, and right now they have 1.5 playable quarterbacks.
The reason he doesn't wear a glove, even in terrible conditions, cold conditions, snowy conditions, because he wants to be able to feel the football, right? So tell me, or he wants to be able to have
There's only a few of the elite quarterbacks that wear a glove. Most of the guys that have the bigger arms, they don't wear a glove on their throwing hand.
And I'm sure it's for more control and to be able to really grip it and feel it.
If they thought they could throw it better with a glove on, they'd have the glove on.
Right. So he thinks he can throw it better without the glove. So if he hurt his thumb, which is what they're saying he did, just tell me how that affects the game plan, how he throws, if he's going to cut back from throwing long balls, if he's going to the game plan changes at all.
This is not a JPP situation where he had the accident with the fireworks. But I know this about hands. For every finger that you lose about 25 to 35% grip pressure. Because this is the business. This is the business I'm in of taking care of my hands. So if Tom Brady's thumb is injured, it'd be different than if his index finger or his pinky finger. But his thumb, to be able to control the football, not only be able to throw it with velocity, but to make the ball spin through the wind. Your thumb will be affected. Typically, you hurt your thumb by hitting it on a helmet. So what I believe is there is some type of swelling in there. I believe they have some type of apparatus, which also makes the glove more bulging. So when they took the pictures, there's a little piece of plastic for compression to help take the swelling out of there that he's probably going to have on there for 24 to 36 hours. And then they're going to try to use some electronic stimulation to be able to get that blood flow out of there. So when he gets closer to game day, he's close to 100%.
One note, the Jags, great defense all year. One thing that they were actually the worst in the NFL at is they gave up the most big play touchdowns. 15 touchdowns of 20 yards or more. You saw it against the Steelers. They gave up 3 in that game alone. Tell me if I'm wrong. If he does have, say, a not badly but somewhat seriously injured thumb, harder to throw the ball deep downfield, which is the one spot you can actually get the Jags.
Well, the Patriots don't throw the ball deep outside because their guys are really small. Tom Brady's always wanted the big receiver. If the thumb is hurt, it's even hampered more. Brandon Cook is too small for Tom. He won't take those chances because Jalen Ramsey dwarfs him. A.J. Bouye is even bigger than him.
That's even if he's fully healthy.
Even if he's fully
Even
healthy.
if he's fully healthy, that's not a huge part
Yes,
of it. Okay.
that was the plan when they started the season, but they haven't been as successful as they wanted to be.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. That's a good explanation. Coming up, can the Eagles pull off the upset against the Vikings? That's next on First Things First.
Got some picks to do.